Or Cstv. For more news updates, you can follow us on all social media handles at CSTVGH. CSTV News is brought to you by Yak Decorations, Sarah's Dream Jewelries, Treats by Manel, KS Graphics, Rema Ushering Agency, Celeste Sweet Tom Brown, and Amsel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing. Now in the headlines, Energy Minister proposes transition to gas to power era. Also coming your way, policeman injured trying to control trainees of the Savannah College of Education on the international front. Also, Indian court orders release of Britain held without trial for years. There's many more stories will be coming your way as well as weather reports. My name is Dr. Mensa. Stay tuned. You're still live on CSTV News 24 on CSTV. Now let's start from the energy sector. Energy Minister John Jinapor has cautioned that distribution sector will collapse if private sector participation is not involved. Speaking during the National Economic Dialogue 2025, he outlined 3 things to boost the energy sector.
Take 3 things that I think we should be looking at. Has to do with ensuring that there's a high level of discipline and efficiency in the sector. In 2023, the PURC approved about $200 million as a cap in terms of capex for ECG. By the end of the year, they had incurred $700 million. So $500 million more than had been approved. What it means is that 500 million was not factored in the tariff structure. And so the indiscipline alone is a major factor. 2 is that it's quite obvious that we need a private sector participation in the management of the distribution sector. If we don't do that, the sector will collapse. And we are headed for that collapse. Already, some power producers have shut their plants today, as we speak, over non-payment of their bills. So it's something that you can't have a shortcut. You must necessarily take those tough decisions. And then finally, from what
on the same story, the Energy Minister also stressed the need for Ghana to transition to a gas to power system.
From what I am seeing, we immediately have to move into a gas to power era. The liquid fuel bills alone is about 1 billion this year. Half of that can build a gas processing plant. That will save us about 600 million per annum. And so for me, that is something that is non-negotiable. We have stranded gas. We cannot use the little we have to buy liquid fuel. We must bring that gas processing plant on and cut the cost. That will also cut the corruption and cut the wastage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now away from the energy sector to some political stories, former majority leader Chairman Sabonsu has explained the reason why he was changed as majority leader. According to him, his removal from the position was part of the New Patriotic Party's plan to re-strategize ahead of the 2024 elections.
And not the meeting I can say. The Okai and say, Samrena and this for now President Mahamana no more yin so beda. Yes. Na onyi ni running meet. But Senana AC Coronier himself befa Vice President ene Professor Jena Intino President Frey na sem no nam say ne pono no So central region I say ya ho de kofo ewo ho na ye need visibility ewo ho the minority leaders am na to what take over from Haruna and they were expecting to have the vice presidential candidate from the same region. And Waka say we need to have some visibility there. And intina omujidi say
omunyo be
from central region. That was assembly. So yemra mu say no kura. You stand here say no. The minority leader or the majority leader is a person chosen by the party people in parliament and the party outside. So intina ukasa wotwetwe a akona yes no amenyai. What you say? Well, obisa me say no de Mr. me pese me kan ho asem. Ma kru entwa me ho. Oh, especially say na AC kono say ma hwe ya and I'm so cry my confusion but fancy the situation. Senka ma step aside. Ena enne ye di nkugu yi. Na nkugu no so enye light nkugu.
Yeah.
Na said me kokan baby am say yes we be cry ku to me. Yes station be ku to me. Let me say oh ye di nkugu no we dey na ye finfram. Pa ma. Yes citron me no many hani. Na we say we dey yes a chance citron me ensa. Enti ahu say me fa na say nkan twuma me ntwimi bai. Na nkugu ya be ya. Chimenza bonsu refuse to resign. Na nkofo di mechi na hey nka nkugu e bai nka okra nka me kra e be site me say me kan ho bi. Atindi ene na me nka what you say the share situation and I'm saying mentweme ho nti as to whether it made sense or not no let me leave it to posterity yes
my
Former Member of Parliament for Agona West constituency in the Central Region, Cynthia Morrison, has stated that she is still a member of the New Patriotic Party, despite the party's decision about her. She then added that unless she is taken to court to justify the party's decision, she is still a member of the party.
I send be there when the man can say, Mamma, you cool way you missing, Jamie, put me when the way you missing, Jam. Mammy, you them at the home woman. Sunday, meaning there. Honorable Haruna, says the Education Minister, or shall we come speaker there? What's no way who so or social media there. Nkrofubi or political party or NPP, a being was work or independent, in a cross war NDC. Inti se wonya ko independence is ano chere we fi party na mi leader afenyo mark engine ho kade onye no kwara na afenyo wankasa da nankasa oya afenyo okasa do ye leader of the majority then ino okasa de okasa ma ba no so oye MPP aban ino odu court nti minjinzi na mi party MPP fo wo shada akwa do kada ada Supreme Court na Ghana fu nyina de wo yi mi fi party nim ama wonya one number so why them done why great the service to the nation we send a car boy the court ma Supreme Court nyina pa na obetanten ho Chief Justice na kasa ka ho na obedza asam na wakada ma speaker kada we he fi party ne men wonye speaker ya adwene da why party fo ma we recall parliament me party from amokwai me nyi ngina ho ye too ya the New Patriotic Party or yen party nyom media nyina capture na ye to abewia wo so we me fi me nti mo kira wo bra me letter na ye court so ma wajitum obi an bra me letter nti party ni zime da ho am.
Still in political stories, former presidential advisor on health, Dr. Insia Asari, has rejected claims that the Agenda 111 project is facing struggles and needs an additional amount of $1.7 billion to be completed.
Appeal, I make a president and finance minister say. Ma omunyai sikano a na yede fango sikana na yede yero pa opa omunhye mu kena na omune banks na Ghana ha no because ye pega na ye be say eye ntentem ne firi ho enkodi nkomo minim de ti ameka sa ye hyase ne no di nkomo omunkoto omuntwetwe nkomo eno mu hyase ne atwe nkomo na ombenya si obama mu sika box some of money ometum de aye no hu se timbia fango ne sika na oba ho ne omu ho ne befa na I say yes I almost friend you contracting them guys also a discount. By discount to certificates in the same thing will be done for the suppliers of the equipment. I say June, July, August, September.
Moving on to the Savannah region, one police officer has sustained a head injury while trying to control a crowd of teacher trainees from the Savannah College of Education in Daboya. The police, led by the Savannah Regional Commander and other senior officers, escorted the principal of the college to campus to address the students as part of their demands. However, the situation turned chaotic, leading to the attack on the police officer. He was rushed to the Daboya Health Center where he was treated and discharged. Still in the Savannah region, the Bonnet Magistrate Court has sentenced a Swallow-based notorious 45-year-old livestock dealer to a fine of 100 penalty unit or in default 6 months of hard labor in prison. A convict who pleaded guilty to the offense of causing harm under Section 69 was sentenced on his own plea after stabbing his victim and leaving him in a pool of blood. He paid both the fine and additional 2,414 Ghana cedis in compensation to the victim to assist with medical expenses. On this note, we go for a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. The news continues. The Bank of Ghana has issued a firm directive against photocopying Ghana cards for banking transactions. It insisted that biometric verification must be the standard for identify authentication. The Bank of Ghana clarified that photocopying Ghana cards for customers' verification is not acceptable. Photocopying Ghana cards leave room for fraud and compromises the integrity of transactions. Instead, banks must authenticate identities directly through the biometric verification system linked to the National Identification Database. President John Dramani Mahama has bemoaned the rate at which Ghana is ripped off by politicians through the award of single-sourced contracts.
Single-source procurement must be the rare exception rather than the norm. We must also subject government projects above a certain threshold to value for money audits. And just this morning I was reviewing some of the procurement reports. And there was this procurement for poultry farmers, 10,000 units of something. And it was single source. The reason for single source was urgency. And one company was giving the contract to supply 10,000 units of whatever it was. The supplier and the person who assembles it was not allowed to bid. And so the company that won it went to the supplier, bought the items for 4,500 and came and sold them for 6,600 to government and walked away with 21 million cedis on that supply. I mean, how can you do this? I mean, it was our own company we're running. How would we do a thing like this? But that is government bleeding. Everybody cutting their pound of flesh. That must stop.
And now on the foreign front, a British man detained in India for 6 years without trial over a high-profile corruption case has been released on bail by the Delhi High Court's ruling. Christian James Michael, an arms consultant, is accused of bribing Indian officials to win a multi-million-dollar helicopter contract for British Italian defense company. Augusta Westland denies the charge against him. He was extradited to India from the United Arab Emirates in 2018 and has been in custody ever since. Pope Francis has remained stable after suffering 2 episodes of respiratory failure on Monday. After Monday's episode, the Pope had begun using an oxygen mask and ventilator to assist in breathing. This was the second time the mechanical intervention had been used after spending 2 days on the ventilator following an isolated breathing crisis involving vomiting on Friday. We'll go for a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hydraulic block machine, pallet, any block machine you want us to now. And nothing so. Block machines are put open in every so ever. Just show your child quite in a year. There was Spinters Road 18 Junction. Yani KFC Dino and a dish anymore. Frey, it was 05240 and I say 0540725850. Amsel blocks machines papa pa efie.
Welcome back from the break. Now in entertainment story, the annual Akwaba Festival, a 3-day event highlighting various aspects of Ghanaian culture, is set to take place from March 6th to March 8th at the National Theatre in Accra. The festival, founded in 2022 by Joe Osei of CJ Multimedia, continues to gain traction as a platform for showcasing Ghana's rich artistic and cultural heritage. Organizers anticipate a strong turnout this year with an extensive lineup of activities. Weather updates is up next. Stay tuned. For the afternoon, sunny intervals conditions will dominate during the afternoon with chances of localized thunderstorms or rain of varying intensity over parts of the coast, middle, transition and the north from late afternoon into the evening hours. However, the eastern portions of the northern half would experience lightly hazy conditions throughout the forecast period. And this is where we end today's news bulletin on Cstv. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Energy Minister proposes transition to gas power era. Also, policeman injured trying to control trainees of the Savannah College of Education. On the international front, Indian court orders release of Britain held without trial for years. And this is where we draw our curtains for today's news bulletin on Cstv. For more news updates, you can follow us on all social media handles at CSTVGH. You can also follow us on YouTube at CSTVGH. CSTV News was brought to you by Yab Decorations, Sarah's Dreams Jewelry, Treats by Manel, KS Graphics, Rema Oshri Agency, Celeste Sweet Tom Brown, and Amstel Block Machinery and Block Manufacturing. My name is Dr. Mesa. Thank you.